This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, fine. So this session I had scheduled for the interview preparation. Like if you guys are planning for interview or what type of interview questions may be asked during the interview, at least for 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years experience, or more than 5 years experience. So there are some general questions which is asked at the time of interview. Okay. So before getting into the interview session, I have some plans, so let me complete that part. And after that, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Okay. So whenever you are going for interview, the first thing is about the introduction, right? So whenever you go for any interview, they will first ask about the introduce yourself, and this is one of the most important questions. Since it's very easy, but this is where the first impression is the last impression. So how are you going to introduce yourself? So maybe you might have attended, many of you might have attended multiple interviews, so you guys are aware of this. But it is my responsibility is to tell you again. So whenever you are going for interview, like the first thing is you have to introduce about yourself. So when you are introducing yourself, so first of all you complete it with your education part first, and then you start with your experience, whatever you have done so far. So this is what the interviewer is expecting. So when you are explaining your experience, you just start it from the beginning, whatever you have done. And if you are because this is completely into the consulting role, so the interviewer also will expect some consulting experience from you. So now it is depend what type of consulting experience you have, whether you have worked as a support consultant or as an implementation uh, you have done. So it is depend what kind of requirement they have and what are they looking for. But whenever you will go for interview, the interviewer will always ask your strong part first. So where are you comfortable? Like in SAP MM, we have two part, but in procurement and inventory management. Okay, so they will ask first in which area you are more comfortable, either in S4 HANA or sorry, whether in procurement or in inventory management. Then they will ask what type of project you have worked and what is your experience. So either they will ask whether you have you done any implementation or you have only support experience. So whatever you have done or whatever in which part you are more comfortable, you have to answer accordingly. Okay. So if you'll go for like if you'll tell that I have experience in support, then they will ask the questions relevant related to support, and they will ask what type of support tickets you have resolved. Please give me some example, and then they will start asking some questions which might be related to the configurations. Okay. And same thing when you will go for implementation, they will ask about the implementation experience. So when you are saying, and because nowadays if you go for any interview, no, every interviewer will expect that you should have implementation experience. Though you have worked only in support, but they will expect that you should have implementation experience. So when you are saying you have implementation experience, then they will ask what did you do in that. Okay, what are the different activities we have in the implementation project. And if you are saying if you have worked in support project, what did you do in support, how it is going to start, how it is going to end, how you are going to coordinate with your team members, how you are responding to your clients, where are you receiving all your incidents, your tickets. Okay, so let's talk on both the parts, implementation and the support. Okay, so when you are saying about implementation, so in during implementation project, there will be some timeline which will be fixed. So whenever you go for any implementation project, the duration may be 2 years, 3 years, maybe 1 years. So it is depend. So what is the total duration of the implementation? And whenever you are going for implementation project, you are not working alone. Along with along with you, the FI team will be there, the ST team will be there, ST plus FI plus PT plus PM, HR. So whoever it is required, ABAP, basis. So these are your like These are the module which will be involved for any project, any implementation project. So apart from this, there may be multiple module. It is depend on the requirements. Okay. So as a consultant, we should know what are the activities we need to do and what is the the current business scenario or current business process which is used by the customer based on the part. Okay. So how would you know that what is their current business process? So first we have to ask them, right? So when implementation project starts, then the SME from the client side and SME means consultant from our side will introduce with each other, and we will get to know from side who is the SME, who is the sales SME, who is the FI SME, who is the PP SME. So it is independent role of each and every consultant. So each and every consultant will interact with the uh, SME from the client side, and then they will start their discussion. Okay, so this is the first stage where we are going to start discussion with the client, and we will ask them what is their current business process, what are they doing from point of view. If particularly we will talk from point of view, we will ask them what are the different type of procurement you are doing, from where you are buying the materials, who are the suppliers, whether all the suppliers are from India or outside of India, right? Then if you are already trained in SAP MM, and if you know all the contents, then based on that you can ask each and everything. How many plants they have, what are the products they are manufacturing, how many storage locations they have, how many purchase organization they have, right? So that is how you will be start asking all the details from the client side. The client will give you the detailed information about their current business process, what are they doing based on the questions which we have asked. Or initially they will explain their business process. That is how they are doing. This is how they, so many plants they have, this many products they are manufacturing, they are buying the materials from the different locations. So they will explain each and everything, whatever it is required to us. If not, if anything is missing, it is our responsibility is to ask the questions from them. Okay, so when we will ask the questions from them, we need to make sure that whatever questions we are asking, that can be implemented or that can be possible in SAP MM. Okay, so when we after discussion with the client will give you all the information, then we start preparing the document. Okay, so that is called as is document. As is, so we will prepare as is document. As is means based on the current business process, whatever the client have, based on that we will prepare a document, and that is called your as is document. And based on as is document, we prepare another document that is called to be document. So to be means whatever the discussion we had with the client, with the customer, whether those requirement can be fulfilled in SAP or not. If it is fulfilled, then how it has to be. Okay, so there will be a comparison of as is and to be, and based on this comparison with as is and to be, we are going to prepare a final document that is called BBP document. It is business blueprint document. So to prepare all these document as is, to be, and BBP, there should be the duration of 3 to 4 months, or maybe it can be 5 months also. It is depend on the business requirements and discussion with the clients, this clients availability, because whatever the information we will gather from the client and we'll prepare the document, for that we need to present it to the client as well. So to present it to the client, we need to check their time, we need to ask for their availability. When they will be available, then only we will show them that okay, this is what the business process which we have understand based on your requirement, or whatever input your SME has given. Okay, so that is how it is going to be finalized. So maybe the first time when you will prepare the document and you'll present it in front of the customer, maybe the customer may ask you to make some changes. They can ask, this is not the correct one. Maybe somebody who has given you the requirement has not given you the proper full requirement, because when you will present it to the client, all the SMEs, HODs, maybe the MD of the company, maybe the project head. So somebody will be from their end, project owner will be there. So they will be knowing each and every activity or each and every business process. module wise. Okay, so they will if they will find any gap, then they will say, okay, this is what we want to add. Then again, you need to add that in the document. Then again, in future, you have to ask them for the timing, and then you will schedule a call, and again you will present it. So that is how this entire process goes up to 3 to 4 months. It may be for 5 months, 6 months as well. Okay, so this is called your blueprint document or requirement gathering phase. So here you will be asking, or you will be gather all the information whatever it is required for the development in the system. Okay, so once it is done, then next step is your realization phase. So if you have not gone through all this, you can go through my first video where all the details are there. Okay, so realize in real, so there I have shared all the details about what are the different phases we have for the implementation. Okay, so once your requirement is done, requirement gathering is done, then you will start configuration in the system. And once you have configured based on the client's requirement, again you have to show it to the client. Now it is depend what type of different methodologies you are using in the project. Okay, so there are different methodologies we have. We have agile methodology, we have waterfall methodology, we have ASAP methodology. So it is depend, it is activate methodology. Mostly in S4 HANA now we are following activate methodology. So whenever you're going for any interview, you can say you have worked in activate methodology. Now what is activate methodology? You can just go through my first video, there it is explained in details. Okay, fine. So this is what happened. Then you start configuration in the system. Then once you have configured each and everything, then again you need to test it. Whatever you have configured is working fine or not. Okay. And then next, what you will be doing, then you will start testing the integration part. That is called SIT. Okay. So SIT means your system integration testing. So once your documentation phase is done, you have started your realization phase. Realization phase means your configuration. You will start configuration in system. Okay. So once you'll complete your system configuration, then you will test it. Maybe testing can be done from your team, or maybe there will be a separate set of team who will be responsible for testing the scenarios. So it is depend. Okay. And system configuration test, then you have to test it. So once you will test it, then you have to check during testing, you need to check your SIT. So what is SIT? SIT is system integration testing. System integration testing. So it is one of the most important testing where you need to check all the integration point. Integration point means you have configured everything from point of view. Now in the same way, FI team, finance and controlling team, will configure all the finance settings and controlling settings from their end. In the same way, sales consultant will do it from the SD end. From PP consultant will configure all the relevant configuration from PP end. Okay, so like that, whatever the required configurations are there, it will be configured by individual consultant, and then they will start testing. So like when we are going for SIT, we need to check whatever the configuration we have done and whatever it is done by other module consultant are reflecting properly or not, whether you are going to post the document properly or not. So each and everything you will check it properly. So when you are going for SIT, there will be some set of scenarios which you are going to test. So what are those testing? So you need to prepare that test document first. Okay, so there you will check where you will check your FI integration testing, SD integration testing, and PP integration testing. So module wise, you will test the integration testing. Okay, and once it is done, you have checked each and everything from your end. You have, because whenever we work for any implementation, or all our SAP MM, FI, SD, PP consultants sit together, and we work as a team. Okay, then next is user acceptance testing, that is called as UAT. Okay, so once we have configured everything in the system, that is your SIT, and after that we inform to the client that our SIT is um, done and all looks good. Now we are ready for the UAT. So UAT means user acceptance testing. So now user will test it. So before user will test it into the system, we have to provide KT to them, right? Knowledge transfer. So because they don't know how to use SAP, so we will ask them this how to use the system and what are the different transaction codes, or if suppose Fury app is there, then how the app will be used. So we have to train them first, then they will start doing user acceptance testing. Or sometimes for me, few clients, the customer will ask you to do the UAT on behalf of them. Okay, so both are possible. So once UAT is done, then everybody is now ready with the documents. They have checklist and everything, all the parameters, all the configuration points. So whatever the checklist they had prepared before, they will make it complete, and then now they will start for the cutover activity. So now when the cutover plan will be going on at that time, so during the cutover plan, it is one of the interview question again, during implementation, what is cutover and how much time it is taking, how much time you are taking to plan your cutover activities. So it is depend based on your project's requirement. It can be 1 month, 2 month, or it can be 15 days also. Okay, so where you are going to list out all your transactional data or all your legacy data, basically whatever material master you have, whatever vendor master, or whatever the PR or PO which you have created. Now all these transactional data and master data, you want to migrate it into your S4 HANA system. Okay, so for collecting all this information, for the cutover plan, at least it takes 15 days to 1 month. So 15 days is the least days which I'm saying. It should be at least 1 month, so that you can prepare each and everything, and then there won't be and you will not be missing anything. Okay, so after cutover plan, then you will be doing your go live plan. So that is your, now everything is fine. So now you're planning for go live. So when you will go live means now the users will start using the system. That is your go live plan. Okay, and once go live is done, the date has been fixed that okay, next week there will be go live. So at that time, everybody has to be ready, maybe in weekend, or it can be any day. Everybody has to be available in the office or in your work area. And then once it is go lives, the users will start using the system. Now they will also test it, whether whatever the testing has been done before, all the transactions or all the parameters is there in production or not. And after that, once it is go live, then there is a time off, that is called hypercare support, basically. So as a consultant, it is our responsibilities to provide them 1 month of hypercare support. So so hypercare support means now during when after go live, when those users will start using the system, if they will face any issue, if they will face any problem, then we will help them during this period, during this hypercare time. That will be after 1 month from the go live date. Okay, so this is what you have to explain when you are saying that you have worked in implementation project. These are the steps which you need to tell them clearly, so that the interviewer can understand that okay, you have experience, now you are aware of the process, you are aware of the implementation process, what happens in the implementation project, and what we do there. Okay, so if you'll explain all these steps step by step, then the interviewer will be also confident, and you will also get more confident that you have explained the process in a proper way. And every interviewer nowadays, wherever you go, they will ask for the implementation experience, whether you have worked in support experience, but they will expect that you should have the implementation experience, or you should have knowledge of implementation experience. That is, how do we do it and what do we do it during implementation project. Okay, so it is enough to crack any interview. Fine. Now next, so this is what we talked about the implementation project. Next is support project. When you are saying that you have experience of uh, 5 or 6 years, out of that you have only 3 years of support experience, then they will ask what did you do in support project. Then you will say, I have, our responsibility was to resolve the ticket. Then they will ask, where did you receive the ticket? So there should be some tool, right? uh, Ticketing tool where you will be receiving all your tickets, all your incidents. So if you are working for some small scale industry, or it's just for 10 years, 15 years old, means startup companies, maybe there won't be any ticketing tool. They are just receiving the tickets in email, and they are making note of that in Excel sheet, and they are maintaining. And then, so whoever is receiving, so there will be a spoke from that team. They will route it to the uh, a particular module, uh, which that ticket belongs to, that particular module. Okay, so if suppose they are receiving, so there is a spoke who is responsible for assignment of the tickets to the respective module. So whatever the tickets they will receive, they will assign it to that particular group. So you have to speak like this, okay, so that they can understand, okay, that this is what it happens in the real time, and you have some idea on this. So whenever we receive any support ticket from the client side, so client will drop an email, or they will have a tool like Snow is a tool, service now, where where Snow is a tool, then BMC is a tool. So there are different tools, ticketing tool we have, but mostly the Snow, SNOW, service now is used for the ticket, for receiving the tickets by most of the clients. So if you are receiving the tickets there, there will be a particular group which will be, designed in that system. So finance group will be different, procurement group will be different, sales group will be different, production group will be different. So whatever issues will be coming, that will be assigned to that particular group. Okay, and from that particular group, you maybe you are working 3 or 4 consultant in SAP MM. Then out of 3 or 4, your team lead or project lead, whoever will be, he will assign the support tickets to any one of you. And he will check how much ticket you have already. Based on that, he will assign the tickets, and you have to work on that. Okay, so when you will receive the incident, first of all, what is your responsibility? You will check what is responsibility and where is that issue. So that issue is obviously in production. So in production, what is that issue? You have to identify whether the issue is in enterprise structure, or in master data, or in procurement, or in printout, or in pricing, or in inventory management. So you will see the tickets description, it will be there. Based on that, you can identify, okay, this is what the tickets, and this is what the incident which is related to purchase order. Okay, now in purchase order, what is the issue? Then what you will do, you will connect with your client. You will just, whoever has raised the issue, you will just ping him, and you will ask them, what is the issue, can you please show me? Then, so maybe sometimes, if you see the system, you can resolve easily, right? So in that case, you can request your client that please show me the issues, where are you facing the issue. Even though they have mentioned that in the document, if you are comfortable with the document, it's fine. Otherwise, if you have not understand, or if you have some issues, then ask them to show them in the system. So they will share their screen, and then they will show you that this is what the activity which we are trying to do, but this is what the problem is. Then you will look into that, and then first, where will you check that? You will check that in your testing system. In your test system, everything is working fine or not. Okay, maybe something is missing, some configuration is missing. So finally you will find it out, what are the issues you have. Okay, and based on that, you will respond to the client. So this is how the process and then again, for every support tickets, for every incident, so there are different level of tickets: P1, P2, P3, P4, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, and priority 4. So if it is priority 1, P1 ticket, you have to resolve it within 4 to 8 hours. If it is, or they can, named it as high, medium, low, very high. So there will be the SLA, the timeline will be fixed. If it is P1 ticket, or low means high priority ticket, then what will be the time duration? If it is a medium priority ticket, then what will be the time duration, and within that time duration you have to resolve that issue. Okay, so these are the activity, these are the process which we have in support project, any kind of support. Okay, now coming to the question and answer. So what are the different type of questions they may ask in the interview, right? Okay, before getting into that, anybody have any questions? Whatever discussion we have done so far, do you have any question? Anyone?
No, no, no. We can proceed.
Okay. So first of all, the first question, as I mentioned, like what kind of,
Hello.
yes,
Hello, sir. Gaurav this side.
yeah, Gaurav.
Sir, I want to know that in a practice software, we solve the issues or so they are common issues. So, मेरे को ये जानना था कि रियल टाइम में कुछ ऐसे सपोर्ट टिकट्स आप हमें एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो तो एट द
Yeah,
टाइम
that
ऑफ
is what I'm
इंटरव्यू वी
going
कैन
to. That is what I'm going to start now. वही
ओके सर
मैं वही डिस्कस करने जा रहा हूँ अभी. Okay. So first question यही होगा. This will be your first question, that what kind of issues did you face in your support project? ठीक है. यहाँ पे जब आता है, it can be your support project or maybe in implementation at the time of interview, they can ask any question. Okay, they can ask the question like what is enterprise structure? Enterprise structure क्या है? Okay, what is the what is the enterprise structure? Can anybody can tell me what is enterprise structure? What is the SAP enterprise structure, and from where it start? These are your questions.
We'll start from plant.
Right, so you are going to start with plant. So plant, storage location, purchase organization, purchasing group. So these are your enterprise structure from point of view. Okay, so you don't say, because when you practice in the system, you are working with company code and controlling area, so you might be habituated with that. So don't tell that company you are starting your enterprise structure from company code and controlling area. This is starting from company code and controlling area, but that is part of finance, so we are not responsible for defining that. We are not defining the enterprise structure of company code and controlling area. So we are starting with plant. Okay, fine. So this is one of the question. Next question can be once your enterprise structure is done, and enterprise structure mostly they will ask this kind of questions. They will not ask more questions on this. Okay, then their questions will be, what is master data and what are the different master data we have? What is master data, or what are the master data we have in SAP MM? What are the master data we have in SAP MM?
vendor master, material master, source list, quota arrangement.
Right. So when you are saying vendor master, that means you are focusing on the ECC system. Okay. So in S4 HANA, because nowadays whenever you'll go for interview, they will expect that you should have S4 HANA experience. So if it is S4 HANA, don't say vendor master, you have to say business partner. Okay. So it is starting with your material master, business partner, then service master, then info records, quota arrangement or source list, and quota arrangement. So when you are saying these are your master data. They can start asking the questions from all this. So in material master, they can ask what are the controlling points we have in master data, or what are the like different or in material type, what are the controlling function we have. Can anyone of you can answer this question? What
Sir,
is
number
mm-hmm,
ranges, field selection area, and quality and value based.
mm-hmm,
These are the controlling areas in the material type.
right? So basically, when you are going to define your material type, you are selecting your material type, whatever you have, and inside, when you get into this, these are your controlling functionalities, like external purchase order or internal purchase order, your user department, right? So these are your controlling functionality. How can you control your user department? Okay. Then your price control indicator, your account category reference, and then your quantity and value updating. These are your controlling functionality we have in material master. Okay, fine. Then they can ask you what are the standard. Uh, mm, so these are your control functionality. Okay, and if they will ask what are the prerequisite for the for your configuration, then you have to tell about your material type, number range, assign number range to the material type, and then material group. Okay, and so this is about your material master. As now this is about your settings. So inside, now when you will get into this, now suppose I'm going to create a material. So when you will create a material, nowadays in S4 HANA there is a material ledger concept we have, right? So the question can be, how can you activate your material ledger for your plant? Anybody can answer this question? So there are 4 steps we have where we can check your material ledger, because material ledger must be active for each plant, and it is a mandatory part in S4 HANA now. It was not there in ECC, but in S4 HANA, material ledger is mandatory. So what are the different steps we have to activate your
OMX2 T code, OMX3, and OMX1. Then after that configuration, we have to use T code CKM start. In this way, we can activate the material ledger in our material master.
correct? So this is the correct answer. So this is how you have to explain. Okay. And what else they can
Sir,
ask?
sir, sir, there, sir, ये
Yes, yes.
मटेरियल लेजर ईसीसी में भी अवेलेबल था और ये एस
But
फोर
that
हाना में
was
भी है।
correct. But
सर
in
मेरा
EC,
मेरा मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि ये नेसेसरी क्यों है?
हाँ, so पहले material ledger was mandatory for the FI team in ECC. It was there in ECC also, but that was configured by the FI team. FI team उसको manage करता था, because that was, for each and every material they have some ledger, right? Ledger account, GL account, general ledger account, which they are managing. So in finance and when it was in ECC में वो लोग करते थे, and that was mandatory for them. But in S4 HANA mein, this plant should activate, and this material ledger should be activated. So same thing, whatever activity it was doing, they were doing it in ECC. ECC में भी वो लोग same यही करते थे कि they were activating the material ledger based on the plant. So FI team हम लोग को पूछता था कि means they will ask to the MM team that what are the different plants you have created. Please give us the list of the plant. तो हम लोग उसको प्लांट दे देते थे, एंड देन दोस गाइज द फाइनेंस टीम विल assign the material ledger for those particular plants. But this functionality they have completely now changed it to the MM side in S4 HANA, so that the MM consultant have to do this. So this is just the responsibility which has been changed from FI to MM. Okay. Clear? Or any other question you have? Okay, fine. Uh, then let's get into the material master now. Now, one of the most important questions when at the time of interview they can ask about your enhancement or customization. So, what customization you have, whether you have worked in support project, you are showing yourself as support or an implementation project. Okay, so they will ask, have you worked in any customization? Have you done any customization? If you have done, also obviously if you have worked in any project, you might have done some customization in the project. So could you please explain what are the different type of customization you have done? Okay, so how can you answer those? Okay, so customization can be done anywhere. You can take the example of any of the screen. It can be your PR screen, PO screen, material screen, or the the business partner screen. Okay, so you can see there are different views here. We have बहुत सारा व्यू है यहाँ पे. We have basic data view, sales view, so different module consultant are using different views, and based on that they are making their configurations. ठीक है. Now, so it is one of the answer which you can answer is in material master you have done some configuration. Now what means customization? So what customization you have done? Maybe you have created a new field here. Okay, so what kind of field you have created? So it can be anything which is relevant to your material. So material related can be the like so when you are going for customization, first of all you first check the entire screen. Okay, out of this screen you can check which field is really you are using and which field, because there are so many fields which we have in basic data 1, but we are not using all these fields. Okay, so maybe that correct character length is also matching with some field. For example, this product allocation field, this field is there but you are not maintaining any data on this, so you can utilize this field for as an enhancement. Okay, so you will speak with your ABAPer and you can inform them that this is the like there is a field which customer is expecting related to product. So so here it is mentioned as product allocation. Maybe they want to create it as product category, though we have material group, but they want to maybe their business is that is their business requirement. Maybe in pharma industry and in oil industry they have different requirements, so based on their requirements, maybe in spite of material group they want a product category or some other field which they want to customize. So this is what you can say in at the time of interview as well, that is this is what the customization and the enhancement we have done. Then they will ask, okay, if you have done this as part of your customization or enhancement, what is the first activity which you need to do? So when you are going for any customization or enhancement, we need to understand the requirement. What is the requirement? And based on the requirement, now you need to check where can you make that customization. Customer will say, we need this customization in material master. But in material master, in which view or in which area that need to be customized, that is depend on you. Okay. So as a consultant, we know where should we do it. If suppose we are customizing here, then what is the impact of this customization in some other field or in some other transaction? Maybe now you are customizing some field, and when you are trying to create a purchase requisition or purchase order, this field should be populated there or not. If it will populate there, then if suppose that field is not created, not customized in that screen, then again that is a problem. So the data which you are customizing here, it will not populate there. So for that, you have to customize in purchase requisition as well, in purchase order screen as well, even in goods receipt as well, even in invoicing as well. So you need to check all these parameters. So if you are customizing somewhere, then what is the impact of that in other screen? Or maybe you are saying that I have customized a field in basic data 1 and this is what it is done. Then you are interviewer can ask, okay, if you have customized it in basic data 1, and when I will create a purchase requisition, I don't want to see that field in purchase requisition. This is what the customer will ask. Okay, but they want to see it in the report. So now we understood what is their requirement. Now the same thing we will ask to the ABAPer. So we will talk to the ABAPer and we will ask them that this is the information which we need only in table level. We don't want that in the screen level. Okay, so that is what you can answer. Fine. Next question. Sometimes they ask, what is the use of, you might have seen these two views. Where is that? Yeah, plan data storage 1 and plan data storage 2. The interviewer may ask, what is the use of plan data storage 1 and plan data storage 2? Because all these data are coming from your previous screens, your basic unit of measurement, and these are your standard expiration date settings. These are hazardous material number field. So what is the use other than this? Then you can answer this for the batch management. So to activate the batch management, we use this plan data storage 1 and plan data storage 2 view. Okay, so this is related to your material master, and nothing more which are relevant or which they can ask. But anyhow, whatever the configuration you have done in the system, just go through that. So these are some high level questions which at the time of interview generally they ask. Fine. The next is your business partner. Okay, so business partner means your this is a new functionality we have in SAP S4 HANA. So in ECC it was vendor master. In S4 HANA it is called as business partner. So when you are defining the business partner here, like in ECC, when you have defined it, there was account group concept. So once you have defined your type of vendors in as an account group, then you have defined number range, and then you have assigned the number range. That's it. It is done, and you are going to XK01 and you have started creating the vendors. But in S4 HANA, and there is only one number range concept. Okay. Now, but coming to S4 HANA, there are two number range concept we have. One is for business partner, one is for supplier. Okay, so there will be two number range. So here also we are defining the account group, and along with the account group, we are defining the number range for grouping, right? So we are defining the grouping also here, and then our account group and grouping should be assigned. So in the interview, mostly nowadays the question is from business partner is, how can you make the setting for uh, number range should be same for both supplier and business partner. So what is that setting, they can ask. So you can check it here and you can answer this. So you can get into this cross application components, the business partner, not here, go to this. So it's not this one, right? To get into this, then setting for vendor integration, this setting is there. So this is related to your field assignment, and here you have this define number assignment for direction BP to vendor, and from here you can see your grouping, and so this is your grouping and this is your account group. So grouping number range and your account group number range you create same, and here from here you have to activate it. Then your business partner number and your grouping number, your business partner number and your supplier number will be same in that case. Okay, So this is one of the interview question nowadays for business partner, which is being asked in the interview. Fine. The next is coming to your master data. So in master data, we have discussed what are the different type of master data we have. So now they will ask what is info record and what is the use of info record. Okay, so this is the simple question which they have. But they can ask in the info record, what are the different info categories we have. So we have different info categories, right? So these are our info categories: standard, subcontracting, pipeline, and consignment. Now they can ask what are you maintaining in standard info category, what price you are maintaining in subcontracting, what are in pipeline, and what is in consignment. Okay, so in standard you are maintaining the standard price. In subcontracting you are maintaining the service charges which you are paying. Pipeline it is not required, but then also you are maintaining some standard pipeline means price for which you are creating, maybe for electricity, gas, or water. So whatever the price it is, because it is not fixed. If it is fixed, you can maintain that price. Otherwise, it is not mandatory to maintain, because for pipeline directly you are receiving the bills and you are paying to the customer. Okay, then coming to the consignment. So again, they can ask you some questions relevant to the consignment, like what is consignment procurement and what are we doing it, and how invoicing is done and how payment is being done. Okay, hope you all have gone through the training, so you are aware of this. Okay, so this can be the question from the your info record. Then let's move into purchase requisition. Okay, so in purchase requisition, there can be a question that how can you identify whether your PR is created manually or automatically. So automatically means that is via MRP that PR has been created. Okay, so from where you can identify? Anybody can answer? How can you identify whether your PR is created manually or automatically? Anybody can try? So your answer should be from the contact person tab. So this is the tab from the contact person tab, from the creation indicator tab. So this crea.ind dot means it is creation indicator. In contact person, in item details, because as you all know, there are three screens we have in SAP in purchase requisition: header, item overview, and item details. So in item details, in contact person tab, we have this creation indicator, and from here you can mention, you can like identify whether your PR is created manually or automatically. This is one of the mostly fixed question which they can ask from the purchase requisition. Okay, then coming to the purchase order. So I'm just going through few questions which is being asked in the interview nowadays. Okay, or there can be a question, can when you are creating a PR, right? So can you reject a PR after approval, yes or no? So you can reject the PR after approval. So sorry, once you have completed your approval process, suppose 3 or 4 level of approval are there. So in which level you can reject the PR and in which level you cannot reject the PR. So if suppose 4 approval are there, so in which level you can reject that and in which level you cannot reject that PR. Okay, so after approval can you reject it or not? That can be one of the question. Okay, fine. Then coming to your inventory, but in pricing procedure they can ask some questions related to the like gross price and your manual price. Okay, so what is the difference between PBXX and PB00? That is one of the like general questions which they can ask. So PBXX, when this PBXX condition type get triggered and when PB00 get triggered. So these are the standard condition type we have for manual and for automatic. So if you have maintained your info record, then PB00 will trigger to the purchase order, and from info record that price will pick in the purchase order. If you are creating purchase order manually, then this PBXX condition type will get triggered. Okay. So these are some, like, frequently asked questions in the interviews. And as I mentioned, one more question about that customization and enhancement that can ask as a gap. So what is the gap we have? So what is the gap you have identified in your project? So if you are working in implementation, they can ask this question. When you are saying you have worked in implementation, they can ask what is the gap you have identified during your project. So you can say that. So what is the meaning of gap? What did you understand from this? So something which is not standard in SAP. So that is gap. So now to fulfill that, what are you doing? You are going for customization. So you are going to customize a screen. Maybe that can be in purchase order, maybe in purchase order in header field, or in this item label, or in item overview, or in item details, or in material master. It can be anyone. It can be in any place. Okay. Then uh, then if you move to the your inventory part, in the inventory side, they can ask you what is like what are the accounting entries generating in the during your um, goods receipt. Okay. And what are the accounting entries in invoice verification? So they can ask these questions, or they can ask one of the regular question which everybody is asking from the subcontracting process. If you're working in subcontracting, they can ask what are the movement, sorry, not in subcontracting. The question can be like what are the movement types which you are using in MyGo, where you
This
where
conference will now
accounting
be
entry,
recorded.
where account where accounting entries are not generating. Okay. So the question can be, where can be the means what are the different movement types which you are using where accounting entries are not generating? Can you list out two or three movement type where accounting entries are not generating? Because there are a lot of uh, you know mm, movement types we have. So on that movement type, what are the movement types where accounting entries are not generating?
Sir,
So these
541.
are, yes. What else? List out at least three. This is what everybody will ask. 541 is one movement type where there is no accounting entries. Fine. Next. Okay. So this is again one of the movement type where there is no accounting entries in one, not three. Okay. Goods received for purchase order into GR block stocks. When you will take it into GR block stock, there won't be any accounting entries in one, not three. Okay. And 107, goods received to valuated blocked stock. So you can see 103, 107, and 541. These three movement types where there is no accounting entries. Okay. So these are the frequently asked questions in any of the interview wherever you go. But apart from this, you focus on your configurations, whatever you have done, because it is, depend on the interviewer's mind. What is the questions they want to ask? Because different interviewer will have different a view, but these are few questions which are regularly asked by the interviewer. Okay, whether you go for support or if it is implementation. If you are saying that, if you have only a support consultant, you can say if you have implementation experience, but you should know what are the different steps or what different activities we are doing. So that is what we have discussed in the beginning. Okay, fine. I'm done with the part which I wanted to share today with you all. So now you can raise your hand and you can ask any question relevant to the topic. If you have any question, please ask me. I have some set of questions. I'm just preparing that and we'll share that in the channel soon, mostly by tomorrow. You can go through that additional questions as well.
Sir,
Yeah, any questions, whatever questions you want to ask. There is no
sir,
restrictions.
if
Yes.
interviewer asks what are the challenges that have you faced in your real time scenario, so sir, what we supposed to say in that area? Can you just explain in according to the real time?
Yeah, good question. So challenges is nothing but your gap. Okay. So when the questions will be, what are the gap or different challenges you have faced in your project? So this question will come when you are saying that you have worked in implementation project. Okay. So now in implementation project, you know all the process, what are the different steps we have, what are the different process we have, right? Now when you are saying during the challenge part, one thing you can say about the sometimes when you will be working with the client, no client will be very aggressive. Okay, so they will not mm, convince whatever you will try to tell. And so you might suppose they want to go for some customization in the material master field. Okay, but in material master field, whatever customization they are expecting, that could be quite difficult from the screen point of view. Then you will try to convince them, then they will not listen to you. Whatever you will say, they will cross question to you only. So one of the challenge is your customer. Okay, so how you are managing your customer. Okay, so how you are managing your customer, how are you trying to convince them, and based on that, when they are asking to go for the customization, you are going for the customization. At the end, client is paying, so you have to do that. If it is on premise, there is no restriction of customization. But the challenge is, now you can give that is what the example I had given in the beginning. So if suppose you are doing some customization in material master. Okay, so here you are doing some customization. Okay, ME MM02. So if you have done some customization here, okay, in this beside description, you want to customize this. So what is the customization? Maybe let's take an example of color. COLOR. Color is a field with character length of 10. Okay, so this is what they said. This is what our requirement is. Fine. Now the same requirement which they will expect when you will create a purchase requisition. So this will be a biggest challenge for you now. Now when you will create, in general, when you create a purchase requisition, you have what is the option you have? Material field and the description of the material. These two field you have. So here material and material number and material description. So here also you have material number and material description. But now when they are saying that they need a field called color with the length of 10 character, and they will expect the same field should be there in purchase requisition as well. So beside quantity, there should that field should be available. Now the same field, because now this PR will be PO will be created with reference to purchase requisition. So now the same field should be there, should be customized here also, right? because now you have created your PO. Now with reference to PO only, you are doing goods receipt. Now the same field here also it should be customized. So now you are here, you will face a lot of challenges when you will have the customization in each and every field, each and every screen, right? So here now you can convince them that okay, based on your requirement, we'll customize it in the material level. Then, but they will ask, but I want to see each and everything in the screen level. That is what they will ask. Okay. So one way is you can convince them that then we can customize it in Material Master, and in the reporting part, in report, in the table level, all the data will be reflected, and you can see the report properly based on your requirement. That is what you can you can try to convince them, but they will not listen to you. They will say, no, I need the customization in each and every field. So this is one of the challenge for you, right? So it is very difficult to implement it. So this is one of the best example you can see and you can give to the client or to the interviewer.
Okay, sir.
Or maybe somewhere wherever they are asking for customization, maybe they are trying to do goods receipt with some additional field here. Okay, so that is also one of the customization you are doing, but in table level it is very much difficult to populate. There are some data mismatch is there. So you can tell to the interviewer about any screen where in which screen you are more comfortable. Take that example and tell that take some field name and tell that this is what the field name which the client was expecting. But if when I was trying to go for the go for the enhancement, there was a lot of issues. Maybe you have configured that, but in the table level it was not reflecting, the report was not coming properly. So these are your challenges, right? So maybe you have customized, but that is not coming properly. The correct data is not coming in the table level, in the report it is not coming. So you can give this kind of examples. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any other question? So those who are already completed the training and now you're going for interview, just go through this part, whatever we have discussed. Apart from that, so these are just the example I have given. Apart from that, the most important thing is whatever configuration you have done in the system. How did you prepare the enterprise structure, right? So during your the configuration steps itself, your questions will be there. The questions can there could be the questions which is related to your field selection key. So I hope everybody are trained and you guys know what is field selection key. So from where you can control the fields, what are the different field we have, and if you want to control some field as required, mandatory, optional, or in display mode, that can be configured from there, from which field or from which configuration path it has to be done. So screen
सर
layout.
सर
Yes.
सर सर लास्ट 1 मिनट की आपकी ऑडियो चली गई थी, एक बार प्लीज रिपीट कर दीजिए, क्या बोला
Okay.
आपने?
Am I audible now? अभी आ रही है आवाज?
यस सर, यस सर.
Okay. Yeah. Question is related to your field selection key, because for each and every topic we have a screen layout, right? From where you can control your field, जहाँ से field control होता है. So which field is mandatory, which field is optional, which field is in display mode. I hope it is clear to everyone. Everybody knows that from where you can control all these fields. So field selection key configuration is known to everyone.
यस.
You can go through that configuration path and you can check from which field, what configuration you are trying to do, and what type of settings you want to control all these fields. So these all for whatever configurations you are doing, the questions will be coming from there. Only the difference is like what happens when you are showing yourself though you don't have experience, but you are trying to show yourself as an experienced candidate, right? So then you should know what happens in the, if you're working in a project, so which we have discussed in the beginning. If you are working as a support consultant, what will be your role and what are the different activities you are doing during your support project, right? If you're saying, if somebody is asking about implementation experience and you are saying that you have experience in implementation, then what are the different phases we have and what are we doing in those steps? And rest of the things, the configuration path and all that, everybody knows. What is P2P process, all of you know. But only the thing is, it is important how are you going to explain them. So when you are explaining at that time, it should not show to anyone that you are just mug up and you're just explaining like that. So it should be explained in a proper way so that they can understand that, okay, you have some experience. Okay, so this was the session I had just taken to tell you about all these interview questions, what kind of interview questions are coming. But in the coming session, I will take one-to-one, where one-to-one, I will just ask the questions and accordingly you have to answer. So mostly in the next weekend, we'll plan for that. Okay, fine. Anybody have any other questions?
Yes, I have one question.
Yeah.
Does data migration activity comes under implementation project?
Yes, it comes, but there can be, there can be two scenario. Okay, one thing is data migration. There will be a separate set of data migration team who will be taking care of entire data. So they will get all the input from you. You have to give all the input to them. Like what are the list of material, what are the list of master data we have, in which screen, what field, what data it is there. But in few projects, there won't be any separate data migration team. You yourself have to uh, act as a data migration uh, role, and you have to do all these activities. But in most of the projects, if it is a big client, big company, not only client, if it is a big company, always there will be a different data migration team who will be responsible for all the data part, complete data part, not only for it will be for FIST, PP, for all the modules. So they will check with you, because from data migration team it is not mandatory that those guys know If suppose they need some data from if somebody is aware of then that is well and good for you. Otherwise they will ask 100 questions because they don't know anything about They will ask the questions related to material master, what data we have, and which then they you have to explain, we have different views. In this view this data is there, in this view this data is there. Same thing you have to explain in business partner, then material master, then your, sorry, in all the master data, then transactional data. For everything you have to explain, and you have to, so basically they will ask. So you have to go to the table level, extract the table and give that to them. So whatever the field they required, they will take. And on the top of that, they will ask what are the mandatory field we have and what are the optional field we have.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Fine. Anybody else? Any other questions? And always, that MMFI integration questions also comes into the picture. And they can ask this question, what is MMFI integration? So wherever you have seen your FI integration, like in in material type, you have seen account category reference. In material master, you have seen, while creating material, you have seen valuation class, right? Then your inventory management, you have seen your transaction keys, BSX, which is used for goods receipt, GBB, which is used for goods issue, then WRX, which is used for invoice verification. Inside that, they are maintaining a chart of account, and then the credit uh, and debit GL accounts they are maintaining. Okay, fine. If you don't have any other question, let's wrap up the session, and I'll let you know for the upcoming session. Mostly next Saturday we will conduct once again, and then that will be one to one. So where you can check yourself how much preparation you have done and how comfortable you are to get into any interview. Okay, fine. If you don't have any question, let's wrap up the session. Thank you everyone for joining the session.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.